I've got to give the people what they want. Gentlemen and ladies, you have asked and you shall receive, because I got the Long Beach State alum. I got AV beer, FIV beer, and whatever kind of V beer. Ian Satterfield, what's up, man?
What's up, Jason? Thanks so much for having me.
So, for everybody listening, this is Ian Satterfield's first podcast. I'm busting them out.
Nervous.
Well, listen, the only reason why I brought it up is because I lost my voice a couple of days ago. So the man with the gift of gab, this is the episode. You might have to carry me a little bit.
All good. I can do that.
Cool, man. Well, shit. We were I did like a Google search on you, and
How'd it go? Hopefully good things.
there was an Ian Satterfield that died.
Oh
He's
no.
born in 1991, died 2020, and I'm like,
No.
how the fuck did that?
Am I alive? Is it pinch me? Like,
It's like, Ian, I thought you were dead. You're like, I was, man. 2020, everybody died, right?
but I came back.
Yes, but isn't it one of those years you wish we could just like cross off and just call this year 2020 and forget like that ever happened, you know?
Yeah, to be honest, 2020 was probably my best year yet. So I'm not in the same boat as most people.
And why is that?
I did more traveling than I usually do. I got to compete with Adam Roberts on the East Coast for about 4 months last year. Met a lot of awesome people while I was out there. Had a great time playing volleyball and training the whole summer, and honestly have no complaints.
I like it. Yeah, Adam Roberts is man. He's talk about resuscitating his career. Like the last 2 years alone, right? Main draw. I think him and him and Banesh. I think they beat Slick and Alan on center court, Hermosa Beach. They
Big
also
win.
beat David Lee and Rosie. Or was it no? It was it Troy Field? No. Sorry, no. David Lee and Rosie beat Troy Field and Baumgren. I remember that. And I think he won Myrtle Beach. He won with Trevor Crabb, right? Yeah,
I would assume so. We
yeah.
also won Myrtle Beach.
Oh, you did?
We
Cool,
did.
man. Yeah. Myrtle Beach is cool because, first of all, it's not like teams that are committed to each other the whole year. Like, it's so random. Like, I saw Lucena play with Taylor Crabb, right? You saw Phil play with somebody else. You saw Trevor, right? Trevor doesn't usually play with Adam Roberts. That was a cool team. Adam lives there, so Trevor goes there, and probably got the red carpet treatment, right? Because I think Adam got a little money put away for a rainy day. He ain't Jason Rich, but I mean, I think he's comfortable. That's right, Adam. I could buy you twice, you broke bitch. No, no, I'm playing. But yeah, I had Kevin Knight on the podcast, and he actually made it all the way to the finals, which was kind of like his coming out party. If you know who Kevin Knight is, like if you've been to Myrtle
Great
Beach, you have to
dude.
know who he is. He is this genius. He's like a PhD lab rat, right? I mean,
Yep,
he's
yep.
doing like
And
real
a
work.
great chef. And I
Yes,
don't know what they call a baker. He's a great baker as well.
he could throw down. He could throw down.
Guy
Yeah, the
knows
dude
what's
could
up.
barbecue, man. Oh my god. I told him he comes here, man. Don't stay with me. But of course, there's an incentive for me. Come on, right? Look, I moved to California. I
Absolutely,
learned the game,
absolutely.
man. I used to be a something for nothing guy, but now guess what? You in my house is because you're probably a chef.
Hey, it's good friends to have.
So you play with Adam where? Myrtle? Where else?
Yeah, we played in 8 tournaments last summer. Wilmington twice, Myrtle Beach, Atlantic City, Virginia Beach, Jacksonville, and Panama City.
Wow, Panama City. Was that NORCECA?
These were all AVP America events, as
Oh,
far as
cool,
I know.
man. Man, they've been really coming through. There's a big one coming up in June, but not supposed to talk about it on the podcast. So maybe when we get cut off or when when we go off there, I'll talk to you a little bit about it because it only reason why I know is because it involves me as a color commentator. Let's just say I've been to bigger events and I've been to small events, but this year and next year, there are going to be some huge moments I've been waiting for all my life. There's
Awesome. Love
and
to
and
hear
the
it,
AVP
man.
America is only a one-time thing. It's going to happen in the South, of course, because the South is like the new Wild West, right?
Yep.
I'm looking at the live streams. I'm like, man, they don't give a F.
Yeah, the way I just got back from Florida, and the way I describe it to my friends, it's like everyone's freshman year.
Rob McLean says, "What's up, y'all?" He's on the live. He just
What's up, Rob?
messages. Now that's a guy you got to train with. You know why? Because listen, Rob. As long as we've known Rob, he's always been athletic. Always had the like 11.5 reach, but there was something about him where he couldn't get out of his own way from the neck up. And the last 12 months, he just took a year away from volleyball. He trained a little bit with Ali San, and he actually helped Avery Dross prepare for San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
And he's for real right now. I've been training him. Oz jumps in on with us. The Aurora, Gustavo, USC, the assistant coach. So he conquered a lot of demons upstairs, man. And now I think he's time. I think he's ready, man. He's like the qualifier. He was in the last round twice, like Boag and Jacobs. He was right there, but now he's exactly where he needs to be. So, you need to get with him. Because we actually have a calendar where we're disciplined. We're not, I don't feel like training today. No, if it's March 11th, 8:00, it's 8:00. If it's March whatever, so we run a really really tight ship. And so far, it's a tight tiny group. It's Oz, because Oz has got like a great mind. And Oz actually more often than not is just servicey, just good hands or whatever. But yes, tiny group. And I don't want it to get bigger. I like tiny groups of small personal attention, and that's all I'm asking for. And I'd love for you to jump in on that. I'm openly inviting this dude. I can't believe it, without Rob's permission.
Well, I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, how did Panama turn out?
Man, to be honest, it's hard for me to
It's like a blur.
differentiate between the Florida tournaments because it was a while ago. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it was very hot. If it's the tournament that I'm recalling, we might not have even finished the tournament. I remember one of the Florida tournaments that we played in last year was supposed to be one day, but due to certain events, we were unable to finish. And we probably got to the quarters by the time there was no more light. So
Right.
kind of just had to call it there, figure out a solution between the players and the tournament director, and go from there.
I like that. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just sharing this on my regular page, sharing this on my Jason page, teasing people. I like Texas for that reason. Like, I don't know where these facilities where they have the night lights, but I'm up. It's like 10 o'clock West Coast time. And these guys are doing their semis and their finals. And I'm like, dude, they're doing this for me, man. It's prime time. Yo, and that's why you said Florida and Texas is like freshman year. It's like spring break or something like that. That's what it looks like, right? There's like, for people at home, that say you should wear a mask everywhere. This probably isn't your podcast. But they've pretty much kept men's volleyball afloat, because I honestly thought that this pandemic probably was kind of like the beginning of the end for men's beach volleyball as we know it, right? I mean, if you look at indoor, and we're going to talk about your indoor career in a little bit, like indoor is already the bastard children of NCAA sports, right? And you're only offered 4.5 scholarships a team. How you gonna slice up that pie 16 or 17 ways, right? UCLA had 22 people. What?
Jeez. Long Beach, I'm sure, has a lot of players too.
Yeah.
We did when I was there.
Yes. That's why when someone's mom's like, "Oh, my son's got a full scholarship," I'm like, "Man, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you." Your son. I mean, because look, if someone's kid got it like that, where 4.5 scholarships, like that one kid got a full ride, it should show. It should show. Your eye test, right? It should show.
Yeah, they're gonna be player of the year.
No doubt. Yeah, because look, back when I played, there were only 11 or 12 man rosters, so you could take 4.5 and actually let it rock. Like Jason Olive. I mean, you're a South Bay product, so you probably know who he is. He's U of H, former U of H star in the 90s. He gave up his scholarship because he was a model and they wanted him to. They said he couldn't model. He couldn't like profit from whatever. And he's like, yeah, y'all can go to hell. I was a model before. He was a model because he was a model before he went to U of H. So it's not like he was using like the billboard material to profit from his likeness. His likeness existed before they did. So he took him to court. They split the difference. You know, he gave up a scholarship, didn't need it. I mean, he's a fucking model. They gave the scholarship to Uvaldo Katz, this guy from this lefty, who, by the way, I think was player of the year and took him to the Final Four. So, yeah. Hey, so while I'm yapping away, let's segue to Long Beach State. You played 2011 to 2014.
Yeah, basically as 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, so that's quite a rock star. That's quite the cast there, Ian, right?
Yeah. I mean, my freshman year walked onto a team that had, I think, 3 All-Americans with, I think it was Dean Bittner, Tommy Pestalacci, and Dan Alexander, something like that.
Yeah. You were at Oppo?
Yep. I started off my first 2 seasons when I actually got on the court. I was actually a serving sub, but during practice, I was an opposite/right side attacker.
Okay. I think your passing's really good. I watch you pass on the beach, and your technique is indoor. You know, where a lot of people are doing these kind of dips, like bounce off their knee and pass. You're getting low, and I'm sure all the coaches are like, "Oh, why are you doing it that way?" But I'm like, "You're doing what works," you know. And
yeah, I do. I do my best to translate a lot of the information that Isaac Newell preaches, and a lot of angles, and because I feel like there's a lot more options when receiving serves outside of your midline, especially on the beach, because you know there's so many factors that are going to affect the movement of the ball. Being able to adjust your platform, especially last second, to the movement is very key, in my opinion.
Nice. I also think like angling your platform helps for beach, because with indoor, like maybe you got to dive for a ball, you know there's a chance the ball's not going to come back to you, right? They're probably going to run a play. You know, you're putting your body out there as a receiving specialist because you're trying to run maybe middle or a shotgun X, or you know like a back real quick, like what I call a X equivalent, you know. But for beach, you know, you can't be doing all that diving and following through shit because
it's exhausting.
You got to create a string, right? You still got to create your string, right? So, sorry, that's John Mayer talk. You know what I mean by create a string, right? Because no, I don't. I don't watch any volleyball stuff. All right, well, no one's ever heard. I've never heard of it, and no one's ever heard of it, and I never heard of it until John used it, and now I use it because John used it. I was John's assistant at LMU, Loyola Marymount, for the women's beach team. So. Basically, it's just finding a place where you can get to your runway, to your approach, creating a string. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of wind. You recreate your string towards the setter, right? You know, traditionally, right? That's about knowing your partner, but traditionally, you want a string oceanside, you know, towards your setter. You know, and it's a former indoor term for middles, creating a string. Like if the setter backs up, the middle comes with him. And many systems, if the setter moves forward, the middle, you know, circles forward, left with him, you know. And some teams don't do that. Some teams it's just middle state. You know, the setter just finds him, you know. And we've seen a lot of offenses too that do that. So, but that's creating a string. I'm yapping away. Who else was on your team at Long Beach State? Wasn't Taylor Crabb there? I think Taylor got Player of the Year 2013.
He did. He did. We didn't even make the Final Four, and the dude got Player of the Year. Pretty impressive, huh?
Balling out, dude.
Yeah, Taylor and I graduated in 2014 together. Our other seniors were Dalton Ammerman, Jeff Ornay, McKay Smith,
right,
and a couple other guys. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting them. But yeah, it was a ton of fun, and honestly, playing with Taylor at that level, it was like watching a man play amongst kids.
Yeah, he's another great player that transcended to the beach seamlessly, and I think those two positions, the outside hitter and the setter, are the ones that seem to do it more seamlessly because they don't have to reinvent a beach technique, except like you said, make sure, if you're going to be angling your platform, make sure you freaking face it. Because what a lot of hitters do on the beach, because they're so good at it for indoor, they're doing like left shoulder serve. Sometimes they're facing forward and they're doing this, right? See, I'm still looking at you instead of this. Yeah. I'm facing forward. Both forearms are going where? They're going up. So will it go to the target? Maybe. But you just officially gave the ball a mind of its own, where if you're doing this, right, your margin for error is going to be up and down towards the net. So just, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. All about dropping one shoulder, finding that pinch in your side.
Yeah, that's why and Betsy Flint has been teaching a lot of the girls to do that. If you face your angle, with your head, mechanically the shoulder goes down, right? So by physics, the other one's gonna go up. So, yeah, pretty cool, man. Alan Knipe, talk to me about him.
Best coach I've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to all my other coaches, but yeah, best coach I've ever had.
Well, this is not the podcast where people take your praise for somebody as a slap in the face to others. This is I mean, there are other podcasts for that. You're with me now, bro. One of the better human beings too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, just a all around ultimate human being. And even after graduating, his support for his former players and alumni is endless.
Yeah.
He's helped me land coaching jobs. And his philosophies, techniques, systems are things that not only greatly improved my volleyball game, and I still play, watch video, and remind myself of things that he taught us when I was in college. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should know this. And it's just like a reminder. But outside of volleyball, a lot of his philosophies are geared towards helping you succeed in life as well.
Yeah, I get the sense from him. I will only say I know him enough. I mean, I don't know him as intimately as his players. Well, no, I mean, and I shouldn't, right? You spend 4 years with the guy. Your samples.
No, I actually had maybe 2.
But cumulatively, your sample size is bigger than some family members, right? Yeah, I mean, you're literally spending more time with him than his own family is. So, I like him because when I moved to California, they had like high performance tryouts. And someone threw my name in the bag. Hey, this guy just moved here. He's from New York. He was, Madison Square Garden. He won Coach of the Year. MSG. So I was, I was making some. I was what you call the do more with less coach, right? I wasn't the guy. I wasn't the okay mechanic in a room full of Ferraris. I was the great mechanic turning Pintos into Tauruses, to put it that way. So he invited me to do the trial process for the opposites and setters and chatted a little bit, gave me some Donald Sujo, got to work with him side by side a little bit. We all love Donald Sujo.
Phenomenal setter.
And honestly, that one day alone, and then I'm coaching Evolution, one of the Duncan Avery's Long Beach. There's a Long Beach alum for you, right?
Grew up playing against him when he was coaching. Well, he was also one of my first coaches, but he was at Redondo when I was at Costa.
Was at Costa? That's for
coaching at Redondo.
Yes, but listen, for the people listening at home, that's the Cowboys in Washington, right? That's the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team. That's a true rivalry. That was Indianapolis against the Patriots. That was Bulls Knicks. That was so regionally, for the people who don't know or care about the South Bay, Mira, and no matter what, if you had a bad season, you like, we have to beat if we beat Redondo twice, it's not a bad, it's still a win. So
yeah, them in Loyola.
Yeah. Yes. Loyola. Yep. Yeah. But Duncan, program director for Evolution, gave me his 16s, and I did some really good stuff with him. And I run into Knipe, all the time, and this and that. And still the same guy. He remembers people. He remembered me. So,
It's awesome.
Yeah. But, so who else was on his team? Trevor was on his team. I think he was a senior, right?
Yeah. So Trevor's first year at Long Beach was also my first year at Long Beach. He came in after transferring from, I think, a basketball school. He had just had crazy shoulder surgery. I know you probably know him now as like this solid dude, and he's always been pretty big. But my freshman year, because of his shoulder surgery, his muscles in his right arm had atrophied quite a bit, and it was very noticeable. And it took him a few years to recover, to get to the point where he could even hit a ball with heat. But that didn't stop him from competing and talking trash.
No, of course. Oh, so he's always been like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like him because he moves the needle for beach volleyball, right? I mean, there are some people whose games are so dominant, they generate fans that way because their game speaks for themselves. Like Arch Karai was never a noisy person, and he didn't start tearing down net systems until his late 30s or 40s. Anyway, he was pretty, quiet dude. Do you remember that video? He like lost his shit.
Yeah, I've seen it. It was pretty.
Do I need
pretty
to
comical.
find that? Do I need to find that? I think I need to find that. But then you got someone like Phil. You know. Walks quietly but with a big stick. So, who else? Taylor, pretty quiet. I mean, he'll stare across the net a little bit, but that's more of like a pecking order, like people he knows or whatever. And it's and people may blow it up for what it really. I don't know. He's not nearly not like his brother. So, and then you got Trevor, who I think that keeps him pumped, and I think it's about finding a partner who can, I don't know, sustain that with him, right? Like
Absolutely.
You ever play indoor and you have a fiery player and then someone chats across the net, he chats back, and the very next play your team gets aced? I mean, some people can't handle it. Some people don't have his back, And I don't mean to put it that way. It's just the best way I know how to phrase that. Some people don't have, I was just trying to look up Karch Karai loses his mind. I don't see it. Oh my God! I see Todd Rogers one is viral. You ever see the Todd Rogers one?
I have not.
He was mad, dude. He's like, I can't believe they let this chick ref. She sucks. He was just like, yes. I think I don't know if it was in Latvia, but it was against Lion King. Like some Samoilovs and Smedins, yes. Todd Rogers loses his mind. I bet you that shit pops up. Here it is. Let's F around a little bit. This is freaking hilarious. Little bad pass. So that little J hook pass. Now watch when it gets to the camera. I'm gonna turn it off after this, but I gotta leave it on long enough for this. Watch this.
Why would you put this chick up here? She sucks!
That's
I mean, I probably would have called a double on that too.
Yeah, but oh, so what do you think? Is that what you think the call was? Or you think she said he wasn't square, like his shoulders weren't square?
He looked square to me. It just looked like there was a little bit of spin on it.
Yeah, I think he's just mad because he J hooked that ball right on that left shoulder. He like J hooked it, and like Phil dove out for it. It's like, man, you just wasted a dive from my player.
Yeah. Well, he's an ultra competitive human being, so I'm not surprised by that response whatsoever.
Yeah, and truly the professor. Truly, he's been a coach before he was a coach.
And he's I hear just being around the dude, you just get tons and tons of knowledge just from the people I've talked to who have just been somehow involved with him in one way or another, which is an awesome quality to have.
Yeah, man. Hey, Chrissy Jones, man, that's one of his Jedis. She's one of the best, very much like you. She's one of the best players a lot of people don't talk about and should, right? Don't you think so?
Appreciate that. But I don't know who she is. So
all right, Chrissy Jones. There's only a handful of African American players on the tour at the high level. You got Fallon, right? She's got some Samoan in her, but I mean everything about that woman says black girl. Jeff Samuels, right? Who's blackness does not sneak up on you. You don't look at him and say that's that guy. That guy could be Dominican. No, he's black. He is a psychic blood brother from Michigan. Chrissy Jones from the qualifier 2019 all the way to the semifinals. So,
Dang.
Yeah, and the three
Just got goosebumps from that, man.
and the 3 cups the AVP had, the 3 cups that they did. She qualified twice, and then I think she had enough points for one of them. So she was playing with Muno from UCLA, and I don't know who her partner is now, but this girl is wrecking shop and roofing people off the court, and she's dynamic, and she's not just this tall black girl that can hit. She's got, her hands are improving. Her platform is indoor worthy, and I'm like, they need to talk about her more. They need to talk about you more, So
I gotta do better. At the end of the day, the reason why people aren't talking more is because I gotta do better.
there's that, but there's also, well, I think that's you realizing 2 things. One, gotta put, the work speaks for itself. My last episode with Rob, our sports debate show, was called "You Are What Your Record Says." That's what the episode's called, because I'm an East Coast guy. I'm, New York, the best, the meanest coaches you've ever met in your life are New Yorkers. The meanest everything, the meanest refs, the meanest comedians. Bill Parcells, Paterson, New Jersey. Pat Riley, Schenectady, New York. Chuck Daly. Larry Brown, Brooklyn, New York. So you are what your record says you are. But we can't deny that as far as opportunities being handed to some people, and I don't like the word being handed to, but let's just put it this way. You're going to love this. When you run stairs, me and you are running stairs, there's a stair running competition. The amount of stairs you run is pure meritocracy. All right, you ran 66. You beat me by 2 stairs. You young fuck, right? So running the stairs is a meritocracy. Getting in the building is not. Right? I mean, Alex Kleiman's doing good, but who's her first partner? So I'm not saying she's not earning it. I'm just saying, and I'm just saying that some people have to do a little bit more to get to where they gotta go. But I think 2 things, and you're very good with this. I think once you realize some things aren't fair, such as life, and you move on, right? And the second thing is California, particularly the West Coast. This is why I'm gonna give West Coast love. They reward people for not taking that fact kicking and screaming. Right? You get to where you got to go. You haven't said, you're not a complainer anyway, but who is your best partner in your beach career? Go.
Man.
We're ready to slap some people in the face again, right? Go ahead. No, but
I don't
let's
really
just list off a few. You got Adam Roberts. That's a very good partner, especially at this time, right? You had Jeff Samuels. I was actually watching your FIVB qualifier at Huntington. Jeff had a really bad second match, but you guys, Vitor and Guto, I thought you guys were evenly matched. It was just about who had a bad match, right?
And they had a few more practices than we did together, and it seemed like they had a bit more chemistry on the court. They had some already preset plays that they ran. I mean, man, I got PTSD from Guto bouncing on a couple fakes on me. Yes. I'm like, dang, this is what the next level's like. All right.
That was a top 10 play, by the way.
It was nasty because, freaking Vitor comes in for the fake option.
Yes, I had a top 10, or the Guto going out to the pin and then running in for the front 2.
That was while Vitor was doing a fake option.
Yeah. Well, the fake option would actually lead you back to the middle anyway. So, but I had a top 10 plays of Huntington Beach, California. And there was Guto running to the antenna as if it was going to be a shoot, and then just jumps in. And I said, and he's Satterfield's Ian.
I will never forget that.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty cool. But Jeff Samuels, right? Mark Burek, talk about good learning curve. Talk about a guy who bet on himself with a heightened level of success, right? He has to my knowledge, the only adult camp in the South Bay because we don't care about adults here. We care about juniors, right? So,
About everybody.
yeah. Where do you coach right now?
I don't coach.
No?
I stepped away. I mean, people do provide coaching opportunities for me, and when they arise, like I will coach privates and clinics. But right now, I'm spending my time and energy elsewhere.
Nice. Cool, man. How's your conditioning? How's your as far as nagging injuries are concerned?
No real injuries, honestly.
None?
Nah, I mean, the only complaint that I would have is when I coached, I was hitting and serving a lot of balls for players. And so that did take a toll on my shoulder, which is actually a big reason why I stepped away from coaching, because I was putting in like anywhere from like 8 to 12-hour days from start to finish from training and coaching. And I was grinding, but my body just physically wasn't able to handle that much coaching and playing if I wanted to compete at my highest level.
Right. Cool. Here's the play I was talking about. Here we go.
Oh, God.
6, go for the gusto, or should I say go for the Guto. Guto with a beautiful pass, but an even better
Watch, you
fake
take one
antenna
step.
hit, front 2, and Satterfield's in, who was totally fooled by the block.
So that was the play, and the cool play is you only needed to take a twitch step that way, and I think he knew that was enough to like go cross court and this and that. So
Yeah, that's honestly, that's a result of poor eye work on my end, watching the ball instead of watching the team, right? If I had recognized, that was just instinct, right? I'm ball watching, trying to protect Vitor, and then feeling that Guto's outside, but still watching the ball, not realizing that he's coming back in, right? I got to get my eyes on the attacker faster as soon as I recognize that Vitor is not coming over with that ball.
it's true. Well, for me, for blocking technique, because my first coaching job was a blocking coach, and it's for me. I always teach my kids on just on a fundamental level: ball, hitter, ball, right? Balls pass. See where the hitters are going, ball. So if you go ball then hitter, at the before you go back to ball, you'll actually see him break a certain direction because it's a 2. Because there's no way you're gonna go back to the ball and see that. If it were higher, yeah, he could fake it, but he had to get moving for that too. So, technique wise, and I learned this in Germany too. I played professionally in Germany as an outside hitter in Darmstadt, ball hitter, and I had to. I'm only 6'1", so So, what's your wingspan?
6'5".
Yeah.
Excuse me, 6'5".
Mine's 6'8". So,
Dang,
I'm a walking group hug.
that's nuts.
Yeah, that's how I survived. I was an outside hitter there, and then I became a setter. And really, I've been playing almost 30 years and 25 years as a setter. I set for Bameso a little bit. Never went to nationals with him, but I helped. I did. I spent the whole winter with him, and then Batista at that time, joined the team later. Frankie, Valdez. I think he was at Long Beach State. Spent a lot of time in New York. That's my homie right there. And
Nice.
they only lost one set. They won 2004, 2005. They only lost a set.
Damn.
So, but that team, I was the only guy that spoke. No one spoke English. Everyone spoke Spanish except for Frankie. So, but they want me to pay to go to nationals. I'm like, yeah, come on, y'all go kick rocks with that. Batista gets to go for free, but me, I've been with y'all the whole time. What? So. Yeah, and they say they're out of North Carolina. No, that's a lot. They're all out of uptown New York, Washington Heights. So, Mira Costa, who'd you play with? That's produced a lot of talented players. Is there anyone of note besides yourself, of course, that you had a lot of fun playing with?
As far as players that continued on to the next level or players that were great at that level?
All right, let me spin it this way. What was your best season at Mira Costa?
2008.
2008. Cool, man. Who'd you play with?
That year I played with Dylan Kordick, Stephen Maholsky, Mitchell Johnson, Will Thomas, Brendan Ray, actually Eric Maholsky as well, Evan Light, a lot of those guys who all went Division I.
Cool, man. Yeah, It's like the Abraham Lincoln High School of California. Like recruiting in California is like 5 or 6 different zip codes, right? It's like it comes down to like eight schools, like Huntington at the time.
I believe it.
Yeah. Well, New York, it's 8 high schools for basketball. It's like 6 public schools and 2 private schools represent like 11% of the NBA's talent. Carmelo Anthony, Jamal Mashburn, who else? Stephon Marbury, Brooklyn kid. So it's pretty unique, huh?
Yeah, it was very awesome growing up in an area where volleyball was worshipped, and then actually being pretty good at it helped.
If you never left the South Bay, you would have thought everyone played it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you what? You don't
Yeah,
play
just go to the
volleyball?
beach and there's courts everywhere and people playing all the time.
No doubt. Even my GTA game. I played GTA 5 last night. I was up yelling at my game. They had a beach volleyball court in one of like the getaways. So I'm like, cool.
That's
all right.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a mockery, like a parody of what California life is. Very, very intelligently written game as far as the scripts and the storyline, as far as character development and certain neighborhoods, like they have their version of South Central, their version of the South Bay, their version of downtown, Hollywood. So like just walking down the street, hearing people on their phones, the conversations. You get into a car, there are radio stations. How is this game for kids? This game is not for kids, dude. How is
Well,
this game
I mean,
for kids?
I grew up on some GTA and that was not kid friendly at all.
No, look, Vice
Pardon
City.
me, I'm gonna grab a sip.
No, but growing up, Vice City, right? That was Florida, right? Parodying Florida. GTA 4, very good job on like New York. They even had like the Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge. So, yeah, man, that's what I was doing last night. So you ain't got time for video games now.
I play occasionally, but I try to spend most of my time learning and trying to better myself.
Cool, man. So what do you do to better yourself, Ian?
Well, right now I'm working on launching a couple of e-commerce businesses. So I'm doing a lot of research on how that works and how Shopify works and different business structures and how I am able to take my ideas that are in my head and then make them real. I actually had a Zoom call earlier today with someone who is probably going to help me out down the line, connecting me with certain brands. Yeah.
Wow, cool, man. You're like doing real work. Interesting.
Yeah, I've been coaching since I've been out of college, and it's been awesome. It's gotten me to where I am. But for me, big picture wise, it wasn't the kind of money that I wanted to make long term. And I have a few ideas that I believe are going to allow me to live the life that I want and still allow me to also compete and travel.
Wow, perfect. Cool, man. That's why you came so professional and prepared for this one. You had a Zoom before this. I'm like, listen to this guy. He's being all professional on this. Cool, man. So who are you training with? Who are you playing with this year?
Yeah, great question. A lot of people have been asking me that, and to be honest, I don't have an answer. I'm always really just focusing on myself, trying to better my game, and the opportunities will arise. There are certain people that I'm looking at as far as potential partners, but as of right now, there's nobody that I've locked anything in with. Again, it just goes back to taking care of things in my game that I know that I need to work on in order to be successful at the level that I want to be at. And if I take care of those things, those better partners it's gonna work out.
Well, you probably have a partner by FUDS. By the time FUDS comes along, tell since I've been doing all the talking here, you're gonna take the wheel for me. Tell everybody what FUDS is.
Man, FUDS, something that I don't know much about other than it's a 4-on-4 tournament in West Florida. I would guess that it's kind of like the East Coast equivalent of the Manhattan Beach 6-man, where it's a giant volleyball event that spans over a few days. There's a lot of partying, a lot of costumes or dressing up, a lot of fun, but a lot of great competition as well. High level play combined with high level partying. It's kind of a summary of
like
the
Manhattan
beach volleyball
Sixes.
community.
It's kind of like Manhattan Sixes, right?
From what I
Except it's
understand,
fours, yeah.
this will be my first FUDS.
Yeah, you're playing with Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Madison McKibben.
I'm not sure if we got Madison or not. I've got a phone call with Jeff actually after this podcast, but we have a couple decent players. Jeff got me, and we were able to acquire Rosie and David Lee as well, and might have a couple other guys joining us.
There's your blockers right there, man. There's your blockers. There's your wing defenders. Yeah, Rosie's probably gonna set. I mean, he could bounce balls too. Don't get me wrong, but actually, let's see if I have a FUDS video. This is FUDS. Wow, look at the quality on this. It does look very South Bay-ish. Let's do like a couple of more seconds. Man, get off your damn knees. All right, that's enough. Was that Trevor on his damn knees?
I don't think
No.
Trevor does warm up stuff like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, we got to see that again. No, that's not him. Okay, he's too small. He definitely is too small to be Trevor. Get your little alien looking baby. Wow. Okay, that's enough of that. We ain't seen nobody. You see him? He's shaking his behind and his pee-pee going up and down. Man, we don't want to see that. So FUDS is happening in April.
Yes, that's correct. I believe the event that I'll be competing in is April 17th. Again, I'm not sure if it's a 2-day event. I don't know if it's the 17th, 18th, or just the 17th. But yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Are you a smart guy? When you do these events, do you always get the extra day at the hotel?
What do you mean by that?
I know some people, like for nationals. I'll give you an example for juniors. For nationals, when they book the coaches' flights, it's like boom, last day. Tournament's over. You're literally running. You're like, dude, I'm already checked out of the hotel. I'm lugging all my bags back and forth here, and I literally have to run for this flight. Are you an extra day guy?
Absolutely. I have had my fair share of
Missing flights.
no, I've only intentionally missed one flight. But I've had my fair share of like staying up, rushing back to the hotel, grabbing my stuff, and then just going straight to the airport. Been there, done that. It's exhausting. Now I do my best to plan my flights either like late Sunday or even Monday morning or something.
Cool, man. I like that. So I've been looking at a list of all of the partners that you played with, all the way from Cody Watton to Chris Austin, right? The under 21s.
Yeah.
Riley McKibben, Andrew Dentler, Rafi Polis, of course.
Yeah.
Doc Vandermeer, who I nicknamed the Savage. That dude, man, you talk about somebody that's a ferocious defender, right?
Yeah, fierce competitor for sure.
Yep, Mark Burek. I'm actually going to give you a couple of names as for ideal partners. I like Miles Partain. Huge upside.
Yeah, and he's got the sauce.
Yeah, and he runs a tight ship for a young guy, as far as being on time and being disciplined and his practices going all out. This huge John Mayer type learning curve or Todd Rogers type learning curve. If you ever see him like miss a dig, he'll like simulate. A whole second later, he'll simulate without the ball like the right way he was supposed to do it, like to himself, and like everybody's watching, but he's in his own world. Like, okay, like this, like if he does this. It'd be like, next one would be like, so he's very good at self-correcting. He's also one of those people that uses the opportunities that were given to him. Certainly the kid with no excuses. He qualified with his brother, right? 15 years old. You were playing with Mark Burek in that tournament. His brother was 17. And what else? Yeah, his brother's at UCLA now. Yeah.
That's awesome. Are they both at UCLA or just one of them?
I think they both are. I think Miles is 18. I mean, sooner or later. I don't think he's playing, though. I think his brother's setting. But this kid decided he wanted to be a beach player.
I mean,
Right.
makes sense.
Way before. I mean, no, it doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Because there's no damn money in it. There's no monetary gain in it. You know what I mean? No, but I mean, it makes sense, like you said, being in regards to being decisive on taking your talents to the beach or balancing your time indoor. We have definitely transformed from splitting time. Some people are making what I call lead decision. So, started with the women, right? Because when it became an NCAA sport, girls they're not splitting their time playing indoor and outdoor anymore. You got a whole bunch of girls that are like, I just want to play beach, and these girls are like, I want to balance my time. But the men, I was still waiting. I mean, Ian, we got to figure out a way to go to sport, man. If it became an NCAA men's sport, maybe. But that's right. He's like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I wouldn't hold my breath for that.
That's what you get for coming on the podcast, man. You're such a positive guy. I just put a Debbie Downer on. You were like, I gotta be honest about this one. So I like Miles Partain. I love Rob McLean as a player to train with, to see if you want to play with. He is, again, the way his mind works like a coach. And he's had a lot of matches where he's had to split time as a blocker and a defender. So he's also a hybrid player. In fact, some of the easier matches he could block, you could play D. Who else? Wow, it's not a whole lot on the horizon. You'd have to pick up a vet, man. You have to pick up Billy Allen or someone. You'd have to pick up. You'd have to pick up a vet.
Yeah.
Casey
If
Patterson.
I'm going to get pulled into main draw or stay as a blocker, for sure.
There's that. So we got the Olympics coming up, bro.
Do we?
Yeah. Well, there's three things in life before 2020: death, taxes, and the Olympics. To me, I thought nothing would sideline the Olympics, and this pandemic managed to do that. But as the last 12 months have progressed, we have accepted the reality that things are not the same, but we also accepted the reality that we're not going to hide behind our door until this goes away. It can
Right.
Everybody's
Gotta
like,
live our lives.
you're right, because everyone's like, flatten the curve a few months, and in a few months, a few more months. Well, now maybe 2022, maybe till Ian Satterfield dies,
We're never going to die.
Yeah, right? Until. But I think it's going to happen this year because the NBA showed how you can do it.
I agree.
And
I don't see how, NBA and these other pro sports, you look at the Super Bowl and events like that. I don't understand how we can have those and not have the Olympics.
The NBA was genius in it. They said, let's get Disney World, let's create a bubble. No one comes in, no one comes out. And it worked so well. 354 players, 0 positive test.
Love that.
0 positive tests. They were the gold standard as far as how to do stuff. I mean, they showed people, then they had to spend a lot of money to do it. But then some people are like, wait, we can create a bubble and not spend all this money. I thought the AVP did a good job of creating like their own poor man's bubble. But when you take into consideration the players that were in it anyway, only socialize, they're incestuous anyway, right? They don't, let people outside of their circle in anyway. So that worked out. I don't think there were any positive tests for that. And the Olympics, they have a village. They have a village, the Olympic village. They can have a protocol, a quarantine period, 10 days before people go to the village. And then when the village comes, when people come in, nobody comes in, nobody comes out. So if anyone can make it happen, it's them. And
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And they have the money. Right? The NBA showed it for a price. So I think the Olympics has them. Dude, they're not broke. The athletes are, but very much like college, right? Everyone gets paid except you. Right? The coaches get paid. Hell, I get paid just talking about volleyball. But I guess the reason why I brought it up is because I had a discussion with Rob on our debate show. We both agree the first teams for men and women are Ross and Kleiman and Taylor and Jake, right?
I mean, I could definitely argue that.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's no. To me, that's where that argument stops. Where the argument starts is who should be the second team. I'll go first on my show. I think I would like to see Trevor and Try. But at the same time, I think Phil and Nick should go.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to bet, and I'm not a betting man, but I would say that Nick and Phil, Jake and Taylor would be our two teams that would be best representing us in the Olympics.
Yeah. I like Try and Trevor because when the stage is the biggest, particularly on the international scene, that's where they've been the most prosperous, right? You look at the 5-star tournaments, you look at the 4-stars, they're in the semifinals, they're in the mix, and there's no Phil or Nick to be found. And Taylor and Jake didn't see the other crab in sight. So, for excitement purposes and galvanizing American beach volleyball, I'd love to have them in as a second team. I think our best shot at making it to the semis is Taylor and Jake. I ain't talking about winning the gold. Come on, again, this is the show where we got to be real. So people take that as a slap in the face, then fine, I just smacked you. But the best shot at getting on the podium, like bronze, would be ecstasy right now. Would be Taylor and Jake. But for excitement purposes, I really like what Try and Trevor are. They're dynamic. They're versatile, right? They split block like the Latvians and like some of the teams from Brazil. So in this,
I love what they stand for and the style of play that they perform. Yep.
Yeah, I really like that they didn't fall into the trap of you're a front row blocker. This whole American concept of you're not tall enough, that's all you're ever going to be. You can't do this, you can't do that. I don't like where our generational volleyball thing is going in that regard. I will never tell a kid he can't do something. If I get a kid who's 5'8" and he wants to be an oppo or an outside hitter, I'm going to be like, look, I ain't going to lie. There's a guy named Ian Satterfield that's 6'5" that's going to take your lunch money. And if you want to be as good as him and if you want to be better than him, this is what you have to do.
Exactly.
And either you do or you don't. But we have too many coaches in volleyball and other sports too, line a whole bunch of kids up against the wall. No, you're not this. No, you can't be that. You can't be this. You can't be that. Too much of this can't shit, dude. So, and I'm off subject again. Sorry.
Good,
and I brought it up because I think you share my sentiment too. I don't do can't. I'm like, if you want can, this is how you're gonna do it. Is it fair? Hell no. Life isn't fair, right? Life sucks, then you die. And you lose your girl to someone as good looking like Ian. But all right. So for the men, so let's go to the women now. Ross and Kleiman are already, I would affectionately refer to as 1 or 1A on the world scene. Mm-hmm. You got them, you got the Canadians, and then you got Rebecca, who actually looked like she's getting into a shape. To me, I consider round a shape, so she's in shape. But I don't know. It looks like she's. People don't realize how young she is and her upside, and she was already good. I'm talking about Rebecca. She's.
I don't watch any volleyball.
She is this cute chunquita. She's like Misty May's size. But she got some weight on her legs and this and that. Kind of looks like a Big Ten. I'll just describe her as kind of like a Big Ten outside of libero. Like that body type. Big Ten conference. So, but she's top 2, top 3 in the world. So, but American teams. So second team right now on points. You got Carey and you got Brooke Sweat. And just not a lot of points behind them is Sponsel and Clays. So dynamically, I think a lot of people would like to see Sponsel and Clays go because Clays has such a wonderful upside. Sponsel has probably the best female hands on the beach, right?
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Well, someone said female and male, but I'm like, nah. You got Rafa Rodriguez. His hands are just, the fluidity. There's no catch and throw with him either. There's no FBI. There's none of that FBI catch and release stuff. So
I don't think there's anyone that knows how to manipulate a volleyball better than Rafa.
No.
Maybe Karambula.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean Skylar Del Sol. We're just talking about hands too. Pure hands. Eric's, God rest his soul, the late Eric Zahn, but we're talking about people that are alive. So, but definitely the best hands on the beach. There were her and like Talita from Brazil. So who do you like for the second team between those three? Oh, sorry, sidelining, footnoting Kelly Kalinsky and Emily Stockman.
Nice. Again, I haven't watched any of them play except for when I saw you last Thursday. I watched Sarah and Kelly play.
Shame on you.
I don't watch sports, man. It's not my thing. But my bias would probably be towards Kelly and Sarah, just because I've just known Kelly since she was like 16. We traveled and played in a couple tournaments together, and her and Sarah Hughes used to ball out. And I remember we were warming up, doing a training drill with Miles Evans. We were playing against Sarah and Kelly and playing on a men's net, and they almost beat us. And they were like 16.
Yeah. Oh my God. Kelly hits hard, man. Kelly hits hard. I had a friend. She was a libero for Penn State. She won 2 chips, and she was in a training session with Kelly, and she had a concussion that, 6 months went by, and she still wasn't playing. She was.
Is that Lacey?
Yeah, Lacey Fuller. Yeah. Mira Costa. There you
go.
go.
Yeah, we coached together.
Well, shit, I didn't want to blow up her name, but since you said it, Lacey, this one is on Ian. It's not my fault, man. Blame Satterfield. So you said you don't watch a lot of sports, do you? But I suspect you do watch basketball.
Literally the only time I watch sports are when I'm with my friends.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So, wow. So when you're not playing volleyball, what are you doing? Are you meditating? Are you building a spaceship at home? Are you teaching
like I said,
old ladies how to yodel? What's up?
I'm always hanging out with people. I'm always trying to, figure out ways to better myself. And I try to combine those two things, and I do what I can to have fun.
No, for sure. No, I get that. Do you, weird question. Do you sing?
No, I'm terrible at singing. I love to dance, and I'm also terrible at that, but absolutely tragic at singing.
I like to dance. I'm more of a pubs over clubs person, but if you take me to a club, they were like, wait, that's the Jason that says he doesn't like clubs? Look at that dude, man. Singing, of course. My major in college was theater performance. My BFA's in acting, so that includes a little bit of that. I'm from a singing family, and I miss the hell out of karaoke. I mean, if anything, the pandemic has taken away from me. I did it twice a year, or twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week. Tower 12 Thursday.
You and Greg were probably just killing it, huh?
Greg is good, man. Greg is good. He's got a good black and gold. He's got a good Fly Me to the Moon. He's got some Nat King Cole, Unforgettable. Fly Me to the Moon. I already said that. Me, I don't have a go-to. I sing everything. But Monday, me and Greg, Mondays is Hennessy's karaoke night there. That's like a pub style environment. And Tower 12 is more of a club style environment. All the songs are like dance oriented. But if there's anything the pandemic took away from it, it's a huge disappointment, because when I'm not doing volleyball, that's what I do. When your escapism, because volleyball is like our life, and it's also our escapism from like a real bullshit world. But when your escapism becomes your career, you need something else to escape to, so you can do your job. Like, right. Absolutely. Some people use volleyball as their escapism, so when they go back to work Monday, they can function like a mammal because they're happy because they got to do what they got to do. Some it's a hobby, but me and you, I agree, it's just a way of life. It's not just. It's more than for some people that don't understand the difference between a hobby and a lifestyle. And they're kind of the same thing. It's just a level. Like it's like hobby. 3.0, you know?
Right. Just
So-
level of commitment for sure.
Yeah, but with that being said, Ian, when it becomes your career, you need something else, another form of release. And for me, it was singing because, again, my major in college was theater, and I did shows for like 5 years before I made the decision to do volleyball full time as a coach and commentator. But that's what I do when I'm not here, you know. So
Yeah, I could guess when you started singing the little intro, I was like, all right, I see you.
That's me with my voice. Listen to my voice. I got a little diaphragm when on these podcasts. You hear a little bit of that DJ. You don't hear it now. I truly sound like the guy from Brooklyn that you owe money to. You know, it's like, you know why I'm here, right, Ian? You know why I'm here. He's like, yes. It's like, good. Saves time.
I was hoping this day would never come.
I'm a patient man. I've been waiting for a long time. So, Ian, are you an ice cream guy or a cupcakes guy?
Man, great question. Ice cream, 100%.
Me too. Where's your ice
I
cream?
love them both. Don't get me wrong.
Where's your ice cream joint in Hermosa Beach? Help me out.
Say that one more time.
Where's your ice cream joint in Hermosa Beach?
Ironically, you're gonna laugh. It's probably Rite Aid in Redondo.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Thrifty ice cream.
Oh, Thrifty?
Birthday cake and cotton candy. Like, you get 2 massive scoops for like less than $3. Count me in.
Where? Rite Aid. Which one?
Yeah, right off of Artesia and Aviation.
Cool, man.
But yeah,
yeah. Well, for
and
me,
Handles over in Torrance is also bomb.
Handles? I want to.
Yeah, Handles ice cream.
It's like a pump thing.
No, it's actually a window that you go up to and you order. They have like $2 Tuesdays, and the line's usually around the corner. I think it's off of like maybe PCH and Prospect, kind of like Redondo, Torrance area.
Yeah. For me, there was a place called Tasty Delight. It was a New York-based ice cream place, and there was only one in the entire state of California. It was in Santa Monica, and I would drive there. I would get a cooler, some ice, and I would pick up 4 quarts because
What flavors?
The Oreos. They had a Lucky Charms flavor. Yeah.
Marshmallows only?
I guess. No, but it was the weirdest ice cream I ever tasted. I love Oreos and cream. I love French vanilla. When someone makes a mean French vanilla, sometimes you don't put anything on top of that, and that's about leaving well enough alone. But they just closed down, so now I don't have. That's the reason why I asked you, is because I don't have an ice cream place now. But I'd make that drive because I like it. I like it a lot, and my wife Kelly, she likes it more. And I don't know, you're a young dude, but and don't let me get into the speech about happy wife, happy life. I make that drive.
What they say.
Yeah, I make that drive for her, but come on, I like it too. I'm playing myself. But
Well, if you're looking for quality, I would definitely recommend Handles. Rite Aid is kind of like lower quality, cheaper, but I love it. Tastes great.
Actually,
It's cheap.
I'm a Google search Handles. You said it's in Torrance, right?
I think it's Torrance or Redondo. It's like right on the edge right there.
Let's check
Kind
it
of
out.
past the Riviera PCH.
Handles homemade ice cream, Pacific Coast Highway, Redondo Beach. Let's plug it in. Let's see them. I want to see a website that's not virused.
Yeah.
No, but what I was saying before, for all of you guys out there, right? And this is for these young cats, and I'm always gonna call you a young cat because your little Asian persuasion is gonna make you look like that until you're like 60, all right? I have never met a middle-aged Asian. I've met old
They
ones.
skip that phase.
Yes, I met old ones, and I met young ones, and nothing in between. Dude, you could be 40 right now. And
I'm gonna stay 26 till I'm 45, and now I'm gonna turn 65.
That's it. That's it. Dude, look, I'm 50, but people, you see me and you see middle age, even though I do look a little younger than 50. I look like a
Contact tracers asked me how old you were. I was like, probably like 35, 40.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I look like an ugly 35. I don't look like I'm 50. So there it is, people. There's your Handles. Oh, spelled like Handels. Like Handel's Messiah. Okay, I get it. 4 until a child is born. Cool, man. No, but the advice I'm gonna give you, and we're gonna cut this podcast short because I think I ran. You give me nothing. I give you everything. No, I'm playing. For all of you young cats out there, if you are lucky enough to run into a girl that doesn't ask you for shit, if you're lucky enough for a girl to have a girl that lets you do your thing, she does her thing, but only asks you to do one or two things. Just do the one or two things, man. Just do the one or two things. If your girl just says to rub her shoulders and get her some ice cream, and that's the only thing she's gonna ask you for the rest of the month, don't be stupid, man. Don't be stupid. Just do those two things, because
it's not that hard.
No, because people say to have that level of happiness, you have to sacrifice. And when you're in a relationship, some people have to do some things less, and a lot of people don't get into relationships is because they feel like they're too selfish, and I'm like, I can't have my cake and eat it too. I'm like, yes, you can have your cake and eat it too. Just run into the girl that lets you have your cake and eat it too. And when it's time to man up and do your thing like a real G should, then do that.
Right.
Just do those two things. Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
No?
I do
she
not.
gonna be
I am
mad?
very single.
Who's she gonna be mad? That girl you talked to? I thought you said you were my boyfriend, Ian.
Yeah. I've tried, man, but the way my life is, there's no shot. I do way too much traveling, and I'm all over the place. It just doesn't work out for one reason or the other, my end, their end. So right now I'm kind of just like, all right, well, no matter what, I'm just going to be single, and I love it. So I can't really complain.
Three careers you should not invest in a girlfriend or a wife with, that if you want any level of success. 1, practicing law. Okay. 2, ministering the word of God. You hear me? And 3, playing beach volleyball, you travel so much. So unless your partner is of a like-minded profession and personality, when I say personality, she understands sports and lets you do your thing. Right. And again, you have a girl that you guys just kind of do your own thing, and at the end, you're not worried about all that quality time. One of the professions you should have a family is politics. You should not be single in politics, because
that's shouting a red flag.
So many things coming at you, so many, like, this 15 girls say this, and I'm like, I've never seen this girl before in my life, and they're like, sure you haven't, Ian. No, but you look, you're on the right path. I think you're talented. You're young. To my estimation, given the partners you have, you're not a partner where someone has to deal with their partner, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I try not to bring luggage to the court.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's luggage, right? But sometimes it's just personalities, like Fallon Moana. I like her energy, like the way we've been taught, right? You want to be high, but emotionally high, but not too high, because big waves crash, right? The
peaks and valleys.
Yeah. For every 5 points you get on the high, you're going to give up 9 on the low. That's the mathematical description. But with that being said, there are unicorns out there that start high and stay high, and they are amazing fucking people about like that. Like Fallon is a unicorn. Fallon, we need to take to the lab and understand, dissect or whatever, and just understand why she's like that and how she can do that. But in partnerships, you have to have someone that can ride that wave with you without drowning, without falling off the surfboard. So it works for her, and it gives her success. And I sound like I'm critiquing her, but I'm also praising her. But she has to have someone that understands that and is along for the ride. That's why her and Alexa Strange had so much success. So, but with you, I think you're very interchangeable. I think if someone's high, I think, okay, all right, I'm good with that. If someone's introverted, I could play that way too. If someone's kind of like a control freak, where they're kind of doing that, I think you're interchangeable, where you can take control and give up control. Because, as you know, in these beach partnerships, there's no such thing as 50-50. That's a lie. There's 50-50 is a lie. There's always going to be what level is the curve of control. So,
yeah, and it depends every time you step on it changes every time you step on the court.
Yeah, because maybe you got to beat on it. Like, okay, I played these guys before. Let's just Let's just play wind ball until they adjust, right? Let me just 2 or 4 block on the ocean side. Let's just one block, 1 or 3 on the strand. And if they don't make the adjustments, we keep this way and we beat them. If they do, then we go from there. But, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think ultimately it comes down to understanding personality types and the whole time you're just trying to figure out what can I do to make my partner perform at their highest level while still allowing myself to still compete at my highest level, right? As soon as you start taking away from your game, trying to help them out, you guys are going to lose. So it's really finding that balance and understanding, are they a type A, type B personality type? What works for them might not work for other players that you've played with. So I've had a lot of experience playing with a bunch of different partners, and I know that's kind of typical for a lot of players in the beach volleyball world. But being able to find success doing that is a different story. Circling back to your question that you asked me earlier about who is you asked who was the best partner I played with. I'm going to change that a little bit and say one of the most enjoyable partners that I've ever played with was Dave McKienzie. And I think the reason for that is because he is a Long Beach State alumni and we are of a different breed. So it was nice to step on the court with someone who I knew what I was going to get. And it was like having a brother on the court out there with me.
He's so cool, man.
Yeah. And we never trained. We ended up going and playing the Australia Volleyball Tour, the pro league there. We played in their biggest event. We ended up losing 15-13 in the finals to Schumann and McHugh. Mind you, Dave McKienzie tore his bicep digging a ball in the quarterfinal round. We were down 14-18 and came back and won 16-14.
And just played through it, man. He's a stud, man.
Yeah. And so that experience alone made an easy decision for me for that answer for the question is Dave McKenzie's been the most enjoyable partner that I've played with.
Yeah. He was on the podcast. We did it. He's in Malaysia. And we chatted an hour and a half. I actually asked him about like a drug test, like a positive drug test. He's like, I don't want to talk about that. And he changed it. He says, you know what? No, I do want to talk about that. It was like he had to go take a test and I don't think he popped for anything. I think he just refused to spend the money to travel to go take the test. So you see something that's on the internet about him popping for like a banned substance. He didn't pop for it. He just didn't want to spend the money to go all the way there and take it. I think at the time he was in Eastern Europe, and I think the test was to be conducted in Australia, and he's like, no. So I like him a lot.
Yeah,
though.
it's like, are you going to pay for that trip?
Hell no, exactly. No, because he wasn't at that time. I mean, the league he was playing in, they didn't pay that kind of money. So, but I like your choice. Because experience means everything. Comfortability with your partner means everything. You guys, and of course in men's volleyball, this you don't see too much of a brotherhood. You see more people following performance by leadership. Women's volleyball, 10 times you're going to see the sisterhood in women's sixes. In men's sixes, it's more like leadership. But you got a brotherhood like that, man. That's awesome. God.
Yeah, I agree. The men's side, it definitely feels like more professional relationships, right? For example, Mark Burke and I played for 2 years straight, basically, and we've played together before. We did a lot of travel tournaments, a few internationally, but the number of times that we hung out outside of volleyball, 0.
Yeah, Mark. Well, I don't even. In Mark's defense, I don't even know when he finds time to sleep. The guy he's the James.
He didn't sleep on our trips. He's always working.
I'm saying he's the James Brown of men's beach volleyball as a player. I mean, and when I say James Brown, like the hardest working man in America. No, we can't leave till we get this right. No, we're gonna stay till we get this right. So, coach is Jeff Alzina. Jeff's a savage. Jeff Alzina is probably one of the best, top 3 American beach volleyball coaches, possibly top 3 or 4 in the world. But you're right about Mark Burke. Yep. Did you go to the Pottstown Rumble with him?
I did not. Never been, but I hear that's a great event.
You listen, just get your Bengay ready. But it's a 2-day tournament, and I think you'll have a really good time. And as far as like fellowship and making fun and being in a party atmosphere, yep, Yeah, man, you would really like that. Baranek did it with Bill, and he had a blast. You played with Miles Evans in the Pan Am Games twice. Do you have the same partner?
I played with him in 2015, and I played with Mark in the 2019 Pan Ams.
2019, cool. Where was 2015?
Toronto.
Toronto. That was cool.
Yeah,
Man.
best experience of my life.
Hell yeah. Chinese 9-man is good there too, man.
Yeah, they try to get me every year, but they don't realize that that's the same weekend as AVP Chicago.
Yes, it is. Chinese 9-man is huge. Let me tell you, I'm from New York, and the Strangers, New York, New Jersey, not founded, but the president is Danny Moy. And I only played 1 year of college. I was at Hunter College for a cup of coffee, and only because they were D3, but they had a D1 schedule, D2 and D1 schedule. And it was a CUNY school, so I got my cheap on. But I was there for 1 semester, and then I was like, forget this school shit. But Danny Moy was on that team, and they introduced me to Chinese 9-man. And in New York, it's in Chinatown, and it's on, asphalt. It's on concrete.
Yeah. And, it looks like a ton of fun and very, very competitive.
I affectionately refer to it as controlled chaos. Right? Because it's, if you look, anyone that's ever seen men's sixes and just watching the middle run, or maybe watching an oppo run like a back one, front one, or a shotgun, and then of course the evolution to revolution of the back real quick. It's like every time the ball's passed, the entire house is coming to the net.
Right.
This guy's running the 31, because you want to see if the middle blocker is going to move with him, or if the team is playing soft zone, if the outside blocker is going to pick it up, in which case maybe you run a go, to have more line and this and that. God, I can go on. I love, as you can tell, I love indoor volleyball. So
must have been a setter.
Yes, that's me, man. I'm always looking I always run a 31 just to see who picks it up. You run a back one or a 31, and if the middle picks it up, then you got 30. We can go 31 straight front too. In fact, with the outside, just come in. The outside's doing this. He's moving here. He's doing this. He's moving here. This one, boom, just wait. Right? That middle takes a jerk step. Outside has all that cross court in the world, man. ABC you later. So actually, I'm looking for footage on Chinese 9-man because I actually covered. I was doing volleyball media for Volleyball 1-on-1 and Georgia July, and it was at ASE in 2016. Chinese 9.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, Chinese 9-man was at ASC. So, God, where is it? I just want to see warm-ups. These guys are I just want to show everybody plays, just like how they run plays. It is controlled chaos, my man. Let's do Chinese 9-man. Let's go with NY Varsity since YouTube.
Yeah, talk about eye work for blocking. You really have to be good with your eyes and getting it on the attacker, because you have, how many are allowed to attack in Chinese 9-man?
Everybody, actually.
No way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, some of them run 5 front row, 4 back row. Some of them run 6.
Right in the top of the tape and going out of bounds. There's the side out for Connex.
So let's
8-7.
This is the one I actually taped. This is the finals. Connex, as you know, is like one of the top teams at San Francisco, I think.
If I told
No,
you there
Smash
were 700
is
people here,
San
you would
Francisco.
tell me
Connex is
that is a low number.
Toronto. Did you see that though? They're running back one, front one, shotgun, go ball, and red.
And they still had 3 blockers up on that attack. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I call it control chaos. So for the people listening at home, Chinese 9-man, there's a penetration rule. You're allowed to go above the net, but you're not allowed to penetrate on the other team's side. So you can't get around these 3-man blocks, but they literally just create a wall, Also, if you hit the ball into the net and play it off the net, that does not count as a hit.
Wow.
And the third rule is, just like beach volleyball, block does count as a hit. So when you see the dig is trying to create something that looks like a de facto option,
wow.
Right? So those are the 3 rules. But once you understand the rules, and once you practice those rules, and once you get your system, like you said, good setter, good hitters, it is controlled chaos. It is so much fun, dude. And I'm surprised. I mean, I'm so racist. I'm like, he's Chinese. He has to know what Chinese 9-man is. You're like, nope, never heard of it, Jay. Yeah, right. Wu, my man Wu. So Cool, man. So, what else? What's the last movie you saw?
War Dogs.
War Dogs.
It's freaking awesome.
Is that Jonah Hill? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Oof. Let me tell you something. The military-industrial complex is a real thing. And on a political level, my man, anybody that runs against them, you will be gaslighted. You will have stuff made up about you, and if there's anything out there that's true, they're gonna find it.
Suicide.
Yes, yeah. But if there's anything true about you, they're gonna find it. And if anything's not true, they're gonna make something up. And if you go against the military-industrial complex, you too will be shunned. On the Republican side, Ron Paul, right, it happened to him. On the Democratic side, Tulsi Gabbard is one of my favorite Hawaiian congressperson. I mean, she's been called an Assad apologist, a Russian plant, So, but what do all of these people have in common? They run their platforms on anti-war, anti-regime changing wars. But War Dogs really shows how much money that there is into it. My God. Good movie, though. Yeah. Good movie. Who else was in it besides Jonah? I forgot the lead. Who's the lead?
Man, I don't remember.
Don't matter, man. You ever see The Wire? HBO?
No, what's that about?
The Wire is about Baltimore Police Department that developing a wiretap to infiltrate drug kingpins. So season 1, they're on the wiretaps on cell phones, and then what happens is, the cool thing about The Wire is the drug people get smarter. All right, you're on my cell phones. Boom, we're going to use payphones. All right, cool. You're going to use payphones. All right, good. We're going to use burners. And so, you know what a burner is? A burner is you go to the store, you buy a cell phone that has 50 minutes on it, and then when you're done, you either throw it out or you refill it. So the cool thing about a burner is that you have to get a warrant on a wiretap, it takes a month. So by the time you get a wire or a tap on the phone, they already threw it out.
Right.
So it's just weird watching these hoppers and these low-level drug people try to stay a step ahead of the game on that. And every season, first season's the drugs, second season's like the dock workers, third is like politics, fourth is like the school kids in the school system selling drugs, and the fifth is like how elections. So intelligently written. But they went from cells to payphones to burners to text messaging to picture messaging, which is hard to get a wire on, right? So the one it's an ensemble cast, but the guy who stands out is Dominic West. He plays Officer McNulty. He's a Brit that puts on the perfect Baltimore accent. Okay, but I'm gonna leave that with you before we leave everybody else. It's called The Wire. Very easy name to remember. Check it out. On your plane trip.
Yeah, sounds good. So
listen, before we bounce, people want to get to know Ian Satterfield. Where can they look for you?
Man, I got a Instagram. My handle is IAN_Satterfield, SATTERFIELD. I also have a website, IanSatterfield.com. But the best place to reach me or keep up to date is through Instagram for sure.
Instagram? Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, IG's. Look, you're a young cat, man. IG's the way to go. All right, people. So Ian might love you, but me, I don't like any of you. In fact, I can't stand you. So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPad at Starbucks, for all of you on your Droid, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world, old school for Ian Satterfield. I'm Jason DeBias, and I speak for the both of us when I say we're out.
Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionDB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify, and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.